Hey babies and clam dogs, how y'all doing? Hey babies and clam dogs, how y'all doing? Let's make life on the original Ritz cracker, or a Triscuit if you like. I'm here and just want to tell you guys what's been going on in my life that's new and good and bad and old. Just ancient injuries taking away from my livelihood and making me feel like a subhuman crickety crack, rickety ram with I'm crumbling into the details of life's monotony. Anyway, none of that makes much sense, but it's poetic, right? So who the frig cares? I'm trying to be adaptable. I'm trying to learn from life, but I feel like I can learn any skill. It just takes me twice as long as anyone else. So maybe I'm more adaptable than most people, but I'm way slower at learning those skills. Or maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm just the same as everyone else. Who the hell knows? Who the hell knows, guys? Learning new skills. What am I learning right now? I'm learning how to light things. I'm doing some lighting for a friend, Francisco. If you know her, she's one of the coolest people I've met in my comedy career. She's doing her show at The Artist in, what's that Bronx little island? City Island. It's a cool little venue. I used to do open mics there, but apparently they put up a nice new stage in the back, and so I'm going to do some lighting and some theatrical direction, I guess. Or I'm a technical director. That's what I am. I know what I am. I know what I'm doing. I'm totally qualified for everything that I do in my life. I'm also doing serving. I'm like picking up used plates and stuff. So that's fun. I love being a human cattle car for refuse. I'm a walking wastebasket. I'm an intelligent walking wastebasket. $20 an hour, please. $20 an hour for your trash. I will touch it. I will touch your dirty napkins for $20 1 hour. Thank you. So that is what's going on in my life. I just got off the road. Oh, the road. Have you ever been on the road? It's so romantic. It's so beautiful. I went up with my buddy Natan Badalov. We drove, I don't know how many miles, probably 1,500 miles in the course of 4 days. What we did was we drove from New York City up to Rochester, New York, then crossed the border into Toronto, then drove from Toronto all the way over to Frenchland, Montreal, and then we drove back all the way to New York City, only to meet rush hour traffic. So, it was okay. Sold some tickets, met some nice people, hung out with some old family friends, met some new friends, did a guest spot on a show because the original show didn't get any audience members. Okay, let's say this. The first night in Rochester, met this nice dude, Todd Gerslin. He's a comedian, really sweet guy, offered to put us up at his place. And there was a whole drama. You want to go into drama? You want to gossip? Isn't it against the spiritual development of society to gossip? Isn't that regressive and a real taboo amongst the enlightened regime of spiritual sonograms and turkey judgment? I don't know what turkey judgment is. I guess it's when you gobble someone's nuts and then they judge you for it. I don't know what it is. But anyway, you want to hear some hot gossip? Oh my God. So last September, I did the Spirit Room. I did Rochester Fringe Festival. Did 3 nights at this venue called the Spirit Room. And the woman who I was in contact with initially was very nice. She was cool, very cool. And we did the venue. And the venue is a pretty interesting venue. You know, they got like weird oddities and mammoths and like mermaid skeletons and unicorn hooves and weird, crazy, kooky stuff and nice cocktails and just an interesting spot. I like it. I like the vibe, quirky, queer friendly vibe. That's the place I tend to feel at home at. But it was a little, and the staff, at least one of the guys was really nice, or one of the people. I don't know how he identifies or how they identify. But they were very nice to us, and there were a few things that kind of irked me a little bit though. The owner of the venue was a little rude. He was kind of grumpy and grouchy and didn't really help us much get set up for the show. You know, the lights were all messed up and no one really showed us how to change the lights or anything, and that sort of thing. You know, basically you're like, have at it. You know, we take zero responsibility. We're just going to take all the drink sales. You keep the door. That's fair. We just don't help you at all. And they, you know, we had a door person one night and then another night we didn't really. And we were supposed to get free drinks. They charged us. They took some cash tickets. They said they gave it to me. I don't know. I don't think they did, but maybe I didn't check the numbers carefully enough. Who knows? Whatever. But anyway, Todd says a friend of his got ripped off by them, and he didn't want to play there, understandably, because he wanted to support his friend's boycotting of the venue. And I was like, all right, well, I don't know what happened, but comedians, that's my community. This place, they weren't terrible to me, but they weren't that nice to me either. So I'm going to go with the comedians. And I did. And then, you know, we had 0 tickets sold anyway. Todd found a new venue. The venue owner there was real cool. We did a show. It was a fun show, despite the fact that we only had 4 audience members. Only 2 of which bought tickets. I let my friend and her friends go for free just because she drove, 90 minutes just to come support me, and the other guy didn't look like he would have paid. I don't know. He didn't look like he had the money necessarily. Maybe he does. I don't know. But I just felt bad charging them. So we had 2 paying audience members. And one of them there was a brother and sister. And the brother was a really sweet guy, like kind of nerdy. And the sister, they were like in their late 30s, early 40s. And the sister kept joking like she wanted to have sex with her brother. And it was kind of hot, actually. I don't know. For me, I don't have a sister, so it didn't seem that weird to me to whatever. Anyway, so, but they were all good laughers, pretty good. She kept talking a little bit too much, but my friends were great, and the comics all performed well, and Todd was a great host. Natan killed it, and then we went off to Toronto land. We did this like basement venue, this DIY venue called The Bunker, and it was really cool, well set up. The people were super nice. The audience was so wonderful. Most of the tickets were bought day of. I think we sold, 15 to 20 tickets, something like that. And the audience was great. The show went great. And that was an overall wonderful experience. Stayed in Toronto another night, did a spot in another show, and then we drove to Montreal the next day to perform on a Monday. It was rainy. The audience was really nice when we showed up, but the venue was gigantic. You never want this like wide open space behind you. It feels like someone might sneak up with a hammer and crack your head open at any second. It's hard to laugh when you're always looking over your shoulder. A creepy basement. So that was part of the reason it was weird. But the audience was tight. Like, we talked to a few of them beforehand, which might have ruined the mystique, the tension a little bit, but they were really, really nice people, and they were just psyched to be there, and they were all from Couchsurfing, which is a great little community, couchsurfing.org, if you ever want to host people or go somewhere. And I know it sounds creepy, but it's not. It's actually amazing. It's like if you're a traveling artist, especially, to have a community on the road aside from comedians or aside from your artistic community, it can really be the difference between a completely depressing, forlorn experience and something that really makes your bubbles crumble and makes your singles jingle in the swamp rain. So there's that. But yeah, they didn't laugh very much at all. And it wasn't just me. You know, Natan had a real rough time. I got a few audience-wide laughters, but it was low. It was like, done. No momentum to be had whatsoever. So that was kind of disappointing, but it is what it is. And we drove home, and, that's it. Definitely did not make a profit on this tour, but at least I offset some of the costs with ticket sales, and the show got better, I think, and that's all you can really hope for at this point, I think. And now I'm just trying to regain my footing, regain my equilibrium. I'm about to do who knows, it might be a one-off podcast, or it might be a new podcast I'm doing regularly with Matthew Silver. We're doing it live on YouTube, so that's exciting. And I can't wait for that. And other than that, I'm just living my life, man. We're going on our honeymoon. We're going on the honeymoon zone. And that's going to be a beautiful thing. We're going to Japan. We're using all the generous gifts people gave us at our wedding to go on this 3-week journey across Japan. And I'm very excited because I have a deep and abiding love for Japan. I went there as a little man at age 18 and then again at 20 and spent a couple months there. And I just, as a teenager, feeling completely alienated from American society. I don't know if it was America. Maybe I would have felt the same way in Europe. Who knows? But I did not feel like I fit in really until senior year in high school, when I went to a school for other weirdos, and weirdos who are like high functioning and, interesting, weird, artistic weirdos, basically, mostly, not all, but I just didn't feel like part of the culture. And then Japanese culture it resonated with me. I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe because it was weird too. That was very accepting of reading comic books and being socially awkward and having strange sexual fantasies and martial arts and all these things that I just generally love seem to be contained within that culture. So I would read every single book I could find about Japanese. I studied the language. Those are not words. どのぐらいはここに住んでますか? That means, how long are you going to be here, man? So yeah, I studied everything possible. And then I was kind of too scared to go to Japan. I didn't want it to not live up to my expectations. So I went to Thailand instead, studied martial arts there. And after I was done there, I decided, you know what, why not? I'm close to Japan. I'm just going to go to Japan anyway. And I wound up living on the streets, homeless, sleeping on a hammock. I set up in Yoyogi Park. This lady gave me a jacket. It smelled like cigarette smoke and perfume, but it was cold. It was November. The rains, they were coming down. I was shivering. I needed it. Thanks, lady. And I met a husband and wife sleeping in a tent in the park. He gave me some sake and a hug. It was kind of nice. People were nice to me. The homeless community was nice to me. Regular people were nice to me. And eventually, well, I'll go into this story some other time. But for now, suffice to say, we're going to be retracing some of the steps, revisiting some of the people I met on my 2 trips to Japan more than 15 years ago. So I really am excited to share a part of my heart with my wife. This deep part of myself that no one understands unless they also been to the Japans. So hopefully it won't be too annoying to her, but we're gonna go surfing. We're going to Yakushima, the island of the giant cedar trees. We're gonna eat a lot of delicious sushi. We're gonna go visit my buddy who worked on the farm with me, this Japanese guy, Akira Momoka, and his beautiful wife, Yukie. I think that's what her name is. And now they have a kid. We're gonna go visit the monastery I lived at. And we're gonna have a grand old time, I think we're really gonna slalom through the slopes of our minds on a hill of sushi, only to wind up in the ski lodge of our dreams that is made of rice, So that's exciting. That we're going away in 3 weeks or less now. And that's really all I got to tell you. Thanks for watching. This is my blog, my clog. This is my blogcast. You can listen on audio only. It's on YouTube too now because I got a camera that doesn't suck anymore. And you can read it. You can also read it. You might be reading it right now and you're like, you can read this. You're reading me saying you can read this. And you're like, why are you telling me I can read what I'm already I'm reading you saying I can read it. That doesn't make any sense. And in that case, you can, like I said, you can watch it or listen to it also. So refer to the previous statement. I'm not talking to you. Anyway, have a great rest of your night, your day, your morning, and I will speak to you next week. Subscribe, tell people, leave a rating on iTunes and all that stuff. Apple Podcasts. Great. Bye.